And I'm just telling people that anything is possible. Whenever, like a quote I love to live my life by, and it really resonates, is by Paulo Coelho from The Alchemist.
Mhm.
Whenever you want something, the universe conspires to make it happen.
Hmm.
And I believe that with my heart. Whether people say the lottery is a get rich quick thing, right? Like you're going to manifest, oh, okay, then just go win the lottery if you believe
Yeah.
that, right? Oh,
Yeah.
first of all, like I'm not trying to make money in my life right now. That
Yeah.
sounds backwards. That sounds ridiculous, or currency.
No.
But my priority is my education, my self-love, and I know how to make money. I know how to day trade. I know how to do some crazy finance things. I can do a lot of things. I can consult for people. There's a lot of skills I have to make money.
Yep.
But I care more about my relationship with myself and my relationship in accepting my path and making my own path than I do in following prescribed list of
Yep.
steps, if that makes
Well,
sense.
are those steps going to make you happier? You know,
Oh,
are you?
100%. I love my life. Like
Yep.
I have a lot of financial stress in a lot of ways, and all by choice. I can talk about my financial situation if you're interested, but it's something that's very personal and I'm willing to share, but it's something that a lot of people would look at me and they're like, you're an idiot. You're dumb.
Yeah.
You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing.
But they don't know you.
They don't know me. They don't know my experience, my education, my values.
You don't know me.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
So there's a tangent on that. A lot of tangents.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helped answer the idea of border security, but
you know what? Yes, I think we touched on a lot of things there that are very involved. The wall is not just about a wall. There are a lot of facets to that situation. Why we want a wall between us and Mexico. And the thing is, I think honestly, Canada probably would be fine with a wall between them and us. You know, they're probably like, man, everything going on there, like we want a wall too. But nobody's gonna, I don't know. Maybe a wall happened, maybe it won't. That's not the point.
Where in the world are there walls? Where have walls been built?
Berlin, China, not in the best places, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Nazi Germany had a wall, and that, well, afterwards, they're usually not in very happy places, to be honest. You don't put up walls where things are going well.
Yeah. So I guess the reason is, why are we trying to put a wall up?
Well, we're trying to prevent bad things from happening, obviously,
So I think of like the Israel, Lebanon, Palestine. They have a wall there. And there's some terrible, terrible stuff on that wall. There are snipers that have blown off little kids' heads.
Yeah.
Like straight up for fun. It sounds horrible, but like that happens. I've seen videos like they could fake it. Who do I know?
And that sort of stuff does happen. Absolutely. Yep.
And I'm not saying it's Mexico's fault.
No.
I don't think it's Mexico's fault at all. I don't think it's America's fault. I think there's just opportunities for people. And one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot of the time, because it's super uncomfortable, is people being trafficked over the wall, or not over the wall, across the border. Yep. Kids being trafficked.
Yeah.
You know how many children go missing every year and are abused, and it's some really bad stuff.
From the Mall of America. Some of it happens in the Mall of America.
It's one of the #1 sex trafficking places in the country.
Absolutely. Yep.
And they had a huge arrest sting when the Super Bowl was here. They arrested a lot of people.
Yep.
They don't have this on the news because we shouldn't talk about real problems. Also, there's in the Vatican, one of the third highest ranking cardinal who ran the money is being subpoenaed for sexual abuse.
Yep.
I'm just saying, with great power comes great responsibility, but with great power also comes problems. And a lot of power comes corruptness, and a lot of corrupt people make it to the high ends of power.
Very true. Yep. But the awesome thing about what we're doing right now is this is let's say 1,000 people watch what we're doing. We don't really even have an agenda right now. We're talking, we're sharing information, but a lot of people don't know these things. They're not aware of these things, and honestly, a lot of people turn a blind eye because it's not pleasant. Well, these things are going to happen as long as we don't do anything about them. You know, there are always going to be people who want to go out and sell drugs or traffic people, or, you know,
What if we legalize all drugs?
I don't
You know, they did that in Portugal, right? Have you seen the results?
Yeah, but we're not Portugal. You know, like that's the one thing. Like we have to look at. Like, yeah, Australia banned guns, but they have a different demographic. You know, Portugal. You know,
I don't like all these comments. Not from you. I'm just in general. We're always like, but they're different than us. Like the whole thing I'm saying is we're all the same. We're all humans.
But I do think our demographics are different, and I think because we have a huge diversity of people in this country. We're so, you know, like we have people from you know, from the Middle East and from Europe and from, you know, from everywhere. And I know that's not necessarily the best thing, you know, but you know, I think we have to be very careful before changing, you know, making big changes like that, because we never know how we're going to respond as Americans, because we're always outraged about things, you know, like something, you know, there's a civil war, but
there should have been a civil war a long time ago.
There would be.
If people understood how the Federal Reserve worked. Okay, wait. I got a book for you. Mm-hmm. I got like tons of shelves of these things. This is what I read. I learn. Here it is.
Okay. I saw some of your books. I actually saw a couple I wanted to read.
Poor Charlie's Almanac's great. That's Warren Buffett's relatively silent business partner. He only invests in things he knows. Hence why he doesn't invest in cryptocurrency and the internet, because he doesn't understand them. But here's a book. Hey, real quick. Did you hear the final number that came out by Google? Did you watch? Yes, it was 2 days ago. They had Google CEO come on and talk about Russiagate. How much money do you think contributed to the ads in Russiagate? That was like the only thing covered on the news for like 6 months or a year. Guess how much money? Guess how much the dollar amount they came out with was?
Billions, I don't know, millions, billions, I don't know.
$4,700.
Really?
That is it.
Wow.
$4,700.
That's crazy.
What was the main thing talked about in the news for the last year and a half?
Russian interference.
It's bullshit. People are so stupid. Like, okay, wait.
However, you have to. A lot of that probably wasn't money based. You know, the hacking and that sort of stuff, that doesn't necessarily.
Okay. Fun thing. So there was I get heated about this stuff because people are just don't have an education on it because they haven't asked questions. So since they've been studies by, ironically, I think it was the Rockefeller Institute, from 1951 to I think it's 2010. Again, you got to look up, do your own research. I'm just spitballing numbers. They could be accurate, but they're not perfect. Mm-hmm. Guess how many elections America has interfered in overseas?
100. You know, I don't know the numbers, but a lot. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think the total number that was found officially was 84 incidents in 47 different countries.
Over what time period?
I think it was 40, 50 years.
Okay. Yeah.
And like, again, I can't quote you exactly. It was done by the Rockefeller Institute. So here's a book I'm going to show you right here. See that?
Yeah.
Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. Mm-hmm. He worked for the CIA, and he talks in his book about going into countries in Latin America, essentially getting them into huge economic debt, killing off certain leaders to help put their political parties who would support the debt. It's all money. It's all finance. It's all power.
We are a capitalistic, above all, we are a capitalist society.
This is not a capitalist society. This is not capitalist.
More so than any other system.
No. America's like number 30 in freedom. It's Google studies on freedom index. Like, we're not, Singapore is significantly more capitalist than us. We have so many rules. Remember the term 50% of people are on some kind of government assistance? 80% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 80%. Is that capitalism? No.
But money does largely run how things work in this country.
Currency runs how things work.
Yeah.
Sorry, Like I said, gold currency are different to me.
That's what you're a money person. I'm a psychology person.
No, but they're all connected because how we relate to money is
Yep.
part of our conditioning in how we choose to spend money, save money,
Yep.
etc.
Well, and a lot of, as they teach us in psychology that money is a conditioning thing. Like, okay, I want a toy truck. Well, you're gonna have to do the dishes in order to get money for the toy truck. But also, why do you want that toy truck? I don't know. Maybe I saw a commercial for it on TV where kids were having fun. So because why do I? Why does that commercial make me want it? Because I want to have fun. So essentially, I am working for money because I want to have fun, and it becomes this very long, rabbit with the carrot, holding the carrot in front of the rabbit thing. And honestly, I think a lot of people lose sight of why they're working for money and why money is so important. And I think that's why what you're doing now and what I did for a long time and still somewhat continue to do is so important, because money is not the number one important thing in the world. Things like happiness, love, the joy we're getting out of life, like feeling good. Money's not going to make you feel good. It might buy things that might make you feel good, but the thing is, like, being happy in my mind is so much more important than how much money is in your bank account. We only live once, YOLO.
YOLO. So I resonate with that, with the idea that money will make you happy. But money will give you currency. I'm gonna keep saying currency. Okay.
I'll use the word currency.
Thank you. Just for me, it helps. Otherwise, I just it's like a tick. Like every time I hear the word money, I'm like, okay, what is money? Money's mean of exchange, store of value, gold, silver.
Well,
whatever.
That's like if you were to say ego to me, I'd be like, what term? Because Sigmund Freud did not originally mean ego to mean what it means now. It is meant to mean like consciousness. But
totally.
Yes. Or like 10% of your brain. No, we do not use 10% of our brain. Different people use their brains in different amount, but like they're just like things that are just thrown around, and so I completely understand what you're talking about, the currency thing, because
and it's an education thing too, is people don't have this education. I had a point. What was I? What were we talking about? We're currency. Oh yeah. So I believe in this world, all we have are experiences and relationships. Our relationship, we don't talk for a while. All of a sudden we catch up. It's like, bam, we just catch up, right? We're just already present. We're in each other's lives. We're able to communicate. Experiences, traveling, spending time with your family, volunteering, working hard. These are all experiences that you have, right? These are where, to me, value comes in experiences and relationships. Currency and wealth provides you an opportunity to have more experiences and more relationships, because it frees up your time, because you don't have to trade your time for money in a traditional 9-to-5 manner.
But it can also tie up that time,
100%. Yes.
When we have a job, sometimes, like, for example, now I'm finally getting on board with my job because I was hired through a temp agency, but I don't have vacation for quite a while. So therefore, I have to rely on whether or not my company will allow me to. I could go on vacation if I wanted to. I could go somewhere, but I want to keep my job. So I'm basically tied up, and I'm fine with it. I'm 100. I had a long vacation, because I decided not to work for a little while. It was the best decision I could have made. Honestly, like it wasn't 100% pleasant, but it was the best thing that I could have done, because I learned a lot. I changed the way that I needed to change. And I'm now at a place where I can be like, okay, I can finally work again. But the thing is, money, it's all about balance. It's really all about balance. People get too tied up in money. People get too tied up in not having money. It's all balance. So much of life is balance. And I think I'm glad I learned that, and I'm glad that you learned it, because work, get my paycheck, save. Where does that get us?
Okay, I have first of all, balance. I agree. That resonates really well. That to me, I have a Twitter handle, Spiritual Crypto, and I like using that because
I saw that. That was interesting.
Yeah. Because for me, wealth is more than finance. Wealth is your mental health, your mental wealth. your physical wealth, your nutritional wealth, your
Power.
social wealth, your
Power.
yeah, it's power, and it's power in all these different categories, right? Like we're like Pokemon, right? We got all these different stats. Some of us start off with different stats. Some of us are more inclined and better. Some of us know hydro pump from the beginning. We got we got an HM, or we got an HM for surf, which is like one of my favorite moves.
Man, I can hypnotize you.
You put me to sleep, set some poisons on me. Like I'm just gonna drain that slow build.
Absolutely.
But with all that being said, it frustrates me because there's a quote that I might butcher, but we buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like, to show that we have been successful, right?
Yep.
So like the other day, I'm lucky because I have a lot of random contacts within the finance world. Actually, there's a man on Twitter I follow, Anthony Pompliano, who is a big hedge fund guy. He does a lot of crypto. His phrase he likes to use is buy Bitcoin, short the bankers. And if you know finance, basically it's saying bet on Bitcoin, sell on banking. And I got to go to this hedge fund meeting, right? And I'm in a situation where like I'm lucky because I was able to obtain some assets when I saved money for a long time. I lived with my parents. I made sacrifices so I could buy a house. I bought a duplex about 3 years ago, and I'm living there now. And ironically, I'm in foreclosure. And I'm doing this on purpose because there's a lot of really cool things and benefits if you have modifications on your property. Complicated, but I'm broke. Like I don't have cash. I had $3 cash, and I used the $3 to take a bus because I just got a car accident. My car's now not working because I got ran into by a DHL car. It's a whole nother story, but I only had $3 left to my name in cash. And I used it to take the bus to go to this hedge fund or to this bar to meet with some hedge fund wealthy people, right? Spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever, more so than me in a lot of ways. But I wore a suit, and I have suits because I used to work corporate banking, and I looked like I had a lot of money, right? I got my ring, I got my watch. Like I look like I'm so successful, but no one has any idea that I couldn't afford to go buy $1 at a gas station. And I say this not saying I have no assets. I'm saying I don't like to use US dollars because I think you have to be the change you want to see in the world. And I want to see a world without Federal Reserve banking. It's a whole nother deep discussion rabbit hole, but we are sovereign for our own wealth.
You know, that kind of reminds me, you and I are both into hip hop. And I think that a lot of people look at what they see on TV. They see people bling, bling. A lot of that stuff is not theirs. A lot of those rappers who are so-called money, they don't have much money. I think, you know, the average professional musician doesn't make enough to support a regular life. But it's all image, you know, and it is 100. There are some, I truly believe Lil Wayne probably is a millionaire. I don't think he has as much as he says he does, but I also think that there are a lot of people who wear these chains around and they wear the nice stuff, but they don't actually have the money.
I got silver chain on right now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing about that.
Got like a fake diamond in it.
And real quick, first of all, most diamonds and most things are fake because you can buy a fake one. You can tell by biting. Like I'm a big silver gold guy, so like I have assets, just not traditional. But part of that is they want people to think that gold and silver necklaces and gold and silver jewelry are only worn by those people.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
Like gold and silver are only worn by people who are rappers or athletes or super famous stars. And people want to buy things to look like those people. And I actually think one of the best investments you can make is a gold or silver chain for yourself. And I say it because anywhere you go in the world, you can turn this into wealth. No matter what happens, this is wealth. Do you know what's happened in Venezuela over the last 3 to 5 years? So they are a socialist country. and the government controls their money, their printing press. And currently, inflation rates are at over 1,000,000% a year.
It's insane.
So what that means is the cash that they have is rapidly deteriorating value because they keep printing more money, and it makes the value of their money go down. And something that this is a Warren Buffett quote. It says, everyone looks like, let's say you're swimming, right? You're all in the water, right? You have no idea who's naked and who's not naked, right? You just see people head above water.
You'd like to hope that they're not.
You like to hope they're not naked. But
especially that guy
especially the guy don't exercise, eat fast food every day, like whatever. But
she can be naked.
Oh, what a world. Oh, beautiful. Hey, all people are beautiful, all women are beautiful, all men are beautiful, souls are beautiful.
Absolutely.
But we get what we put in. The more you work on yourself, the better the more attractive you're going to be.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
Absolutely. Yep.
But when the tide comes in, that's when you find out who's naked and who's not naked, right?
Yep.
So this is a big thing in finance because most people who are millionaires, a lot of people who are 10 millionaires, they are paper millionaires. They're not actually asset millionaires. Because a lot of asset value is dependent on the financial system and how we use interest rates. So I'm worried right now because I'm trying to sell my house, and I'm actually worried we're about to go through a huge housing boom. Actually, I'm thinking we're going to go through a huge debt boom, which is even bigger than housing. That's another story. But I'm worried that I'm going to have a house, which is great, which is an asset, but where the debt in my house is worth more than the value of my house. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. Yep.
So something that I really recommend for people is calculate their net worth, which is your assets minus your liabilities. So like you might be a millionaire, right? Like I might have $1 million in my stock portfolio, but 70% of it's tied up in my 401k. 10% of it is set up in bonds. Like I might not actually have access to most of that wealth. Mm-hmm. And the reason that is because you want your money to be earning more money for you, right? You want your currency to earn more currency.
Yep.
Because that's how most wealth occurs is you have an asset that produces income, that produces money over the long run, which makes it therefore a more valuable asset because it produces more revenue. Yet most of these people don't actually have that much money. So they are cash poor, asset rich. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. Bill Gates, for example, how much of his money is passive? It's, I don't know, 99.99999%.
No. Way lower than that. A lot of his wealth is tied up to Microsoft shares. Mm-hmm. He probably has a lot of his accounts. I don't know his personal financial situation, but like when you see a Forbes list of like who's worth what money, they're saying all their assets are worth this amount of money. They're not saying that they actually have that much money. They're saying their paper value is that much money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But there's active and passive income, right? And active income would be like working at a McDonald's. Passive would be like you have a stock portfolio and it's either
dividends or something. Yeah. So they are different. Yeah. You have to work to build that passive income. It takes energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
But with all this being said, is how our financial system set up is, guess what would happen if we paid off all our debt?
Man, I don't know. Pigs would start flying. Hell would freeze over.
You think so?
Yeah. That's what if we paid off all our debt. Are you talking about the country?
I'm talking about country, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hell would freeze over. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, it is mathematically impossible to pay off the debt.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by that.
Okay. Mathematically, being the system is a foundation, debt is fiat, fiat is debt. Mm-hmm. So for us, how it works is imagine we got some towers, right? Like here's let's say this is our life, right? You go to school, so this is your asset column, this is your debt column. You're born, let's say you're 0. Technically, that's not true because we're all legally obligated to pay the federal debt. But that's a whole, so many rabbit holes, man. Depends. Again, taxes, debt, finance are all very murky, And it seems very confusing because every situation is different, because the rules always are changing, and there's a lot, there's a lot of things going on. But let's say this is all the money in the world, right? $0, $0. In order to create debt, we have to create money or a currency. In order to create currency, we must create debt. How it works is debt is created with leverage, with fractional reserve banking, with how lending works. So to create debt, this is how it works. You are mathematically impossible. So when you pay off debt, let's say you pay off your credit card bill, right? Let's say you have a credit card and you owe $30 a month. And let's say you have a 0% interest rate, hypothetically. As you pay debt, both wealth and debt are destroyed. So it is actually impossible in our current system to have no debt, because there would also be no currency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that makes complete sense.
No one learns this. They don't teach you this ever.
No.
And ever. They can't teach you that. Because if people knew this, they would say, I'm not going to pay my bill. And then what would happen is no one would pay their bill, and all the companies would go bankrupt because no one's paying for anything. Yet they can't actually do anything to you most of the time except for hurt your credit score.
Or they can garnish your wages in some cases. I know.
Yes and no. It depends.
The government actually is garnishing their wages for the student loan not being paid off, and it was a ridiculous situation. But yeah, the government, man, they'll start taking your money out of your paychecks.
On paper, guess what is the biggest financial asset for the U.S. government?
Honestly, it's student loans, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How fucked up? Sorry, how messed up is that?